Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be comparing the new Subaru Forester to the Honda CR-V to see which SUV is best. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Nate Wade Subaru here in Salt Lake, and then to the Ken Garf Honda also here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with both of these cars. I'll include a link to both of their websites in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood of the CR-V is a turbocharged 1.5-liter four-cylinder that goes through a CVT. Fuel economy is 26 around town and then 31 on the highway, with power outputs being 190 horsepower and then 179 pound-feet of torque. Now, powering the Forester is a 2.5-liter flat four-cylinder that goes through a CVT. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 32 on the highway, with power outputs being 180 horsepower and then 178 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you're going to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the CR-V, I would say it almost has like a boxier design, and a big part of that is just how they've shaped the headlights, and then look at the hood as well. And by the way, the color on this CR-V, really cool with the metallic flake. And then popping over to the Forester, you can see with the headlight design right here how, I mean, you've got that element right there that's a little bit more squared off, but then this kind of, it's like a teardrop action popping down. It's very interesting. And then they've made like the top a little bit boxier, but then the front end of this, unlike the CR-V, I think is a little bit less boxy. But yeah, let me know which front end you like best. Now with the CR-V, our tire wheel setup is 235 by 60 by 18, and then with the Forester, it's 235 by 50 by 19. So we've got slightly bigger wheels here with the Forester, but then less sidewall on the tires. And you guys can see the coloration difference that they're going for with both of these. And then notice with the fender flares on the CR-V, and then we also have pretty aggressive fender flares on the Forester as well. And then interesting to see the height difference with the mirror caps, then also the roof lines. Very, very interesting indeed. And then look at the backs of both of the vehicles. The CR-V kind of flows in a straight line, whereas with the Forester you've got that kind of like chunk. So here's your full side view with the CR-V, and then here's your full side view with the Forester. So taking a look at the cargo area in the Forester, you can see you've got a cargo cover built in from the factory. Quite a bit of space here in the rear as well. You can see a little charging port there on the side, for example. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty dang practical. When you're all done, just press this, or the hatch right back down. And then popping over to the CR-V, it looks like it doesn't go as far back to the seats, but it's not like a big difference. But then the loading floor is lower, so then you have more vertical space. So interesting how that's different with both of them. But the CR-V, just like the Forester, just one touch and then I'll lower the hatch. And then when it comes to the back end design, interesting with the differences. Again, the CR-V, I feel like it almost has like a boxier look, and I think a big part of that's how the taillight arcs up on the bodywork versus the Forester, I'd say, has more traditional taillights. Now, legroom in the Forester is pretty dang solid. We've got little storage pockets, got some vents here with USBs. And look at these seats. Nice trim, pretty cool design. And same thing with the door panel with all the trim. And then headroom back here is pretty good. The roofline does come down a little bit. Now in the CR-V, good legroom just like the Forester. You can see the vents and the USBs here. And look at these seats. Fancy looking, right? I feel like I sit a little bit higher in these seats too. And look at the door panel. I've gone for like kind of more premium design. And the same thing with the roof. It kind of comes down a little bit here in the CR-V. And let's start her up. Ooh. Notice mostly analog gauge cluster. You do have that little digital element in the center to see different vehicle information. And then nice door panel with the soft touch trim all over. It's kind of cool with the cloth trim there. Solid sound with the door closing. Paddle shifters here on the back of the steering wheel, and you got practical controls like your adaptive cruise control. It does have like a sport mode there. And then your voice controls and all of that. And then in reverse, we do have a backup camera there. And then the infotainment system's really cool. Quick response time with the screen. We've got heated seats, you've got your dual zone climate, and then you have analog climate controls too. And I like this element on the Forester. I think that's pretty fun on the dash. And then we do have a wireless phone charging pad down below. We've got our shifter for the CVT, and then you've got this interesting like charging cup holder situation because you got the port there, and then also the parking brake. And this is cool with the center console trim. It's pretty nice. And And then the Forester is a very interesting sunroof. It's bigger than a regular sunroof, but it's not quite a panoramic. It's this weird in-between size. And let's start her up with the CR-V. Gauge cluster is a little bit more digital. Like you can see there's that big screen there on the side with kind of like the analog element there to the right. And then take a look at the door panel. Again, really nice trim. Very tight fin finish. Ooh, memory seats too. You can see the blind spot ring with the mirrors. And then look at all the controls here on the steering wheel. Got like your adaptive cruise control, steering assist and all of that. And then we'll pop it into reverse. Yeah, pretty solid with the camera there. Infotainment system's quite a bit smaller than the Subarus. Guess it's not on. There we go. But quick to respond. Easy to use overall. I don't think that size, like it seems like that's the thing they're going for in the car industry, is just bigger, bigger, bigger. Size doesn't necessarily mean better. And then down below you can see we've got dual zone climate, you got heated seats, wireless phone charging pad, very similar features. Got drive modes here with this. Even got hill descent control, which is kind of interesting to see. And then the shifter for the CVT. Got some cup holders here. Nice center console lid. Well, that's spacious, that's for sure. And then again, you got cool kind of trim and everything, and then you got like the vent design on the dash too, which is fun. And then this just has a regular sunroof. Now when it comes to pricing, that CR-V stickers for about $38,300, and then that Forester about $38,600. So pretty close in price. Let's take them out and see which one drives the best. Well, let's talk about visibility before you set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring with the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the CR-V first. I will say these seats are pretty comfortable. Honda's kind of luxed things up with the new product. CR-V is an example of that. I mean, you can see with the design they're going for with the interior here. It's definitely looking more and more like a luxury car, that is for sure. Oh my goodness. That person on that bike just like almost, I don't know if you guys saw that on camera, but they almost lost it. That was terrifying. Interesting to see the power difference between them. This should, in theory, feel quicker because it has more horsepower and it's turbocharged. We're at, I think this part of Salt Lake's like 4,200 feet above sea level. So yeah, we're at a higher elevation, and so being at higher elevation and all, turbocharged engines perform better. So yeah, they should feel quicker. Should. See what the reality of the situation is, right? Smooth ride. Yeah, it's nice overall, I will say that. It's a nice ride. Okay, I'm gonna get another acceleration here. Okay, that gives me a pretty good idea. Interesting. So overall, I mean, the new CR-V, it's a nice car. It is a nice car. They got some nice touch points in here too. Like I said, they've luxed things up. So with that being said, well, let's go pop into the Subaru. Let's talk about visibility here in the Forester before we set off. Both mirrors. The rear, and let us set off in the new Forester. What I'll say is right off the bat, I think they both have comfortable seats. I think the Honda seats might be slightly more comfortable. It's a very close seat battle though. The thing I am noticing though is the suspension tuning on this seems to be kind of more floaty. So it leads to somewhat of a more comfortable feel with the suspension. So slight win with the Honda in the seats, slight win with this in the suspension. It's not, again, when I say slight, I'm talking real slight. Interesting. At least so far, that doesn't appear to be that big of a power difference. Both feel pretty similar so far. Man, these are both good. This segment of little crossovers getting jam-packed with some good stuff nowadays, let me tell you. Okay, I'll punch it here. Yeah, it doesn't quite punch as hard as the Honda. I wouldn't say it feels slower, it just doesn't quite have the same torquey punch that the Honda has, which makes sense, turbocharged and all. So, something's up with this comparison, Subaru versus Honda. It's a close one. I think it's going to come down to style. I think that people are going to pick one or the other based on the style that they like, whether it's the Honda style or the Subaru style, because these are so close. It's not like one of those situations where one is objectively like just drives, and they're so close. So let me know if you go Forester or if you would go CRV.